right, well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see some familiar faces in the audience and lots of new faces as well. Welcome to our session today, Resolving Customer Issues Faster with the Amazon Connect Agent Workspace. If you are in this room right now, you probably operate a contact center. Maybe you're already using Amazon Connect, or you're considering Amazon Connect for your contact center. You are also likely facing some challenges. Perhaps you maintain software infrastructure that your agents currently rely on to help customers, and you're looking for alternatives to drive agent efficiency. Well, we're excited to be up here today and tell you about a new launch that was announced yesterday in Adam Selipsky's keynote address that we think will help solve some of these challenges with cloud-based technology and intuitive agent interfaces. I'm Sandeep Rao, go-to-market specialist with AWS Productivity Applications, and this is Jack Hutton, Senior Product Manager for Amazon Connect. Let's get started. All right, so many of you already know what Amazon Connect is. For those of you who do not, Amazon Connect is a true cloud-based contact center that allows you to scale up to any size workload, and you only pay for what you use. It's very simple to get started. Anyone, from a non-technical business leader to experienced contact center veterans, can begin innovating on behalf of their customers with our self-service graphical user interface. You can design conversational interactions that are natural and personal using our speech recognition and natural language understanding technology, the same technology that powers Alexa. And the combination of these benefits allows organizations to design customer experiences that meet expectations, drive business goals, and reduce costs.
Connect is one of the fastest growing services in AWS history. Tens of thousands of customers use Connect, creating over 10 million contacts in total per day. Large customers, such as National Australian Bank, Adidas, and Delta, love that they can experiment and move at a rapid pace like a startup. Meanwhile, smaller customers, such as Answer Connect, Slice Pizza, and ChartSpan, love that they can get an enterprise-grade solution at startup prices. Overall, we value our customers' input, and it's very important that we listen to customer feedback in order for us to innovate and allow you to rapidly expand your customer service operations. And so I just want to give a quick thank you to all of you and all our customers for trusting us as you overall transform your customer experience.
All right, so you've seen some organizations who use Amazon Connect today, but how do agents use Amazon Connect? Well, today, agents can use our free, out-of-the-box agent workspace to get work done more efficiently. This agent workspace is available virtually anywhere via web and single sign-on. All of our agent empowerment capabilities are unified in a single pane of glass. But again, you only pay for what you use. The interface is intuitive, so agents can quickly and easily find the information they need to resolve issues. If we dive deep into the agent workspace, we can look at a few of these capabilities. On the left-hand side of this screen, you'll see the contact control panel, where agents can receive voice contacts, chat contacts, and tasks. An agent can also see if a user has been, or a customer has been authenticated using our voice biometric solution. In the center of the workspace is our customer profile. Here, customer information is aggregated from disparate sources and displayed to the agent. Information like prior contact history, basic customer information like name and phone number, as well as other additional and custom information the agent or the organization enters. We also have another tab called Cases. With Cases, organizations and customers can track, collaborate on, and resolve issues that span multiple contacts. In the Cases tab, all the cases associated with the customer profile are listed, and an agent can click into the case or create a new case based on the issue. In the top right of this workspace, we have automatic recommendation service. Amazon Connect can listen to the conversation and automatically suggest knowledge articles to help the agent resolve the issue faster. Or the agent can type a keyword into the manual search to pull up a relevant knowledge article. I just want to emphasize again that this agent workspace is free out of the box, and it organizes and unifies all of our agent empowerment capabilities, which you can use on a pay-as-you-go basis.
So now that we have an agent workspace, we did ask ourselves, what can we do more to help? And so we identified 3 key areas we wanted to help customers make improvements. The first has to do with onboarding and ramping up new agents and making them proficient faster. The next has to do with making sure that all agents, experienced or novice, are adhering to best practices and following updated standard operating procedures. And lastly, we want to help business operations teams figure out new ways to improve efficiencies and make sure the overall agents are operating well and adjusting to new use cases. And so with that, as of yesterday, we've launched step-by-step guides as a preview feature in our Amazon Connect workspace. And so with this feature, you're now able to configure the primary tab of the agent workspace. So at the start of the call, you can surface relevant info and actions to your agents to resolve issues faster. At the highest of levels, what we have done is we've given you the ability to surface contextually relevant data and these actions, making sure the agent has all the information you need to get going quickly and the tools to dive in fast. In particular, when it comes a little bit down deeper to a step-by-step guide, here's where you're able to really structure your SOP and codify into the system so the agent is given clear instructions of what they should be doing at any point in time when trying to handle a particular use case. So in terms of use cases, it's going to vary greatly by customer and line of business. But at the highest level, we do see 4 common steps that all contacts have, and we really try to optimize the system to make these steps work well. The first has to do with identifying the customer and making sure they are who they are. And so with that, we have customer profiles and voice ID plugins that make it a little easier to get the step done quickly so the agent can dive fast into the actual issue. But first, they got to actually determine what that issue is. And so with that, in our landing page experience, we give you the tools you need to help guide the agent to figure out what's going on with this contact so that they can find the right action to carry forth and solve it. Now, when it comes to resolving the issues, which is probably the heart of our step-by-step guides feature, there will be various different approaches you can take. And later on in the deck, we'll dive deeper into how this could work. And lastly, most contacts require some type of after-contact work, whether it's call notes or distribution codes. And so with the guided experience we provided, you'll be able to configure this in our agent workspace.
All right, so let's see step-by-step guides in action. The video I'm about to show you, there will be an agent working at an airline who uses guides to help a customer with a lost baggage reimbursement claim.
In this video, we will show how the agent will submit a claim for lost luggage on behalf of a customer. When a contact comes in, we will display the match cards, which is a quick snapshot of the step-by-step guides that were configured by managers. When agents click on a match card, we will display the solve cards with actions that will initiate a workflow. The customer information is already pre-populated from the Amazon Connect customer profile. The most recent flights are available, and once selected, the rest of the information is populated. The agent asks the customer what items were lost and the amounts that the customer wishes to get reimbursed. The receipts can then be sent via email if needed. In this step, the customer agrees with the reimbursement amount. Finally, the agent can review all steps with customers to make sure all of the information is accurate. And the form is successfully submitted.
All right, well, let's call out a few things. The screenshot you see here is step 1 of the guide from the video we just watched. Now, guides open up in the same tab as the landing page, so an agent doesn't have to leave a contact. Further, there is a progress bar on the left-hand side of the guide and basic contact details on the top of the guide, so the agent never loses context on the contact. Information from first-party sources like customer profiles can be used to pre-populate forms. Information from third-party sources, in this case, flight management systems, can also be brought into the guide. There are also navigation buttons at the bottom, so the agent can progress through the guide or cancel the guide altogether. Now, you've seen an example of how guides work, and you're probably asking why have we designed guides in this specific way?
And so we want to take a small segue to explain how we've used guides in our own Amazon customer service departments in order to improve agent efficiency and training. And so our old custom CCP looked like this. And as you can maybe tell, there's a lot of features for agents, which is great because we gave them all the power they needed to resolve any type of contact. But as time went on and we added more features and use cases got more complex, this started to become a burden on agents because it became a very unwieldy system to use. So for example, just to look up the status of a Prime subscription membership, agents would have to go through three menus and 4 UI pages just to get the status details. And then to actually modify the subscription, they'd have to do that 3 more times, going through 15 different UI pages and many menu tabs. And overall, this is becoming too burdensome of an experience that was placing high cognitive load on our agents that we've noticed was reducing their ability to learn. And this is true for new agents just trying to learn the system and get acquainted with their job, but even experienced agents, we realized, were divergent in how they handled the same type of customer requests because the system was so fluid and open. And that was leading to inconsistent customer experiences. So we dug deep, and we tried to evaluate what is really going on with our UX. And when we evaluated it, we realized our UX process was asking the agent to listen to the customer, simultaneously locating and researching data and buttons and menus, and then on the fly assembling a solution to that problem. And this was wasting a lot of time and a lot of energy for our agents. So after extensive UX research and many prototypes, we've landed on a new UX process. And we call it listen, match, solve. The idea is that the agent will primarily focus on just listening to the customer, and we're going to surface on the UI screen the most likely topics for that call so that the agent can just hear what the customer is saying, click on what they see on the screen that matches the topic, and then proceed to dive right into a solution. So we're going to illustrate this by walking through our UX with a little bit more detail. So in this UX, we surface the most likely topics for a call. And a topic could be a product order, it could be even a financial product, it could even be a workflow. Either way, we give many options to the agent so that one of them is likely the issue. And once they click on the topic, they can see a summary of pertinent details about that topic, as well as actions that let them update this topic. And what we found is there's only so many actions you can do for a particular topic. Only so many things you could do for a retail order. And so by narrowing down the agent's decision tree to first just find that right topic, it really funnels down the options they have to choose between, really strictly limiting their cognitive load. But now, they found the right topic, the right issue. How do they solve it? And that's where the step-by-step guidance really kicks in, where we give these sequences of simple UI pages to the agent to really let them focus on one thing at a time. Whether there's one input field, one question to ask the customer, they can slowly go step by step, getting the right information they need to help the customers matter. Additionally, along the way, we will feed a bit of agent scripting to the agent so that, let's say they submit a transaction and they get a confirmation message, it won't just say that it's been successful. The success message will read as a script they can read out loud, telling the end customer what's just happened and what to expect, like an email notification. Additionally, even when doing different questions and inputting fields, we'll inline standard operating procedures and policies right into the question. So in case an end customer has a question on the spot about different options, the agent can read them right out loud rather than having to go find a knowledge article and some buried data. Now let's say our topics were wrong. Well, in that case, we always give an escape hatch to the agent to find the right workflow for them. So for example, if the agent clicks on the Find More button here, they'll see a whole list of workflows that they have access to, and then now they can figure out, okay, which one do I need? This way we give them the freedom to always self-serve and find the right solution in case our prediction is a little bit off. So now I want to talk about the outcomes of this new UX we've rolled out. First, we've been able to reduce onboarding time by down to 50%. And the main reason for this is the app is so intuitive. We don't have to spend that much extra time teaching all the different menu layers. It's pretty much a 2 different panel screen to go through. But more important, we've actually been able to reduce our time to proficiency by 40%. Agents are using the same UX regardless of the use case they follow, so it really creates a simple, streamlined experience so they can learn as they go. It's the same methodology of listen, match, solve, regardless of the new line of business they might be assigned to or new use case, so they can basically learn as they go and not have to worry about doing retraining over and over. Additionally, we've been able to reduce our average contact handle time by up to 35% for some departments, and right now we're at a global average of 20% reduction. And perhaps most importantly, we've actually reduced agent heart rates. And I take this really seriously. We did do biometric studies where we hooked our agents up to devices and did A/B testing of the old UX comparing them to new UX. And the heart rates did go down, and self-reported stress levels also reduced. And while we don't advocate Connect as a healthcare product in this manner, we are really just happy that we're able to make the daily lives of our agents better.
All right, well, this UX process was researched and developed in the context of Amazon customer service, but we can really generalize this UX process and apply it to other types of organizations and use cases. Here we have more of a generic retail organization example. An agent at a retail organization is using guides to help a customer return a dress. The customer's information, purchase history, as well as payments are all consolidated into a single workflow for the agents. Can we go beyond retail? What about financial services organizations? Well, in this example, an agent at a credit card company is using guides to help a customer add an authorized user to a credit card. New user information entry, approvals, and follow-ups again, are consolidated into a single workflow within guides. How about hospitality? In this example, an agent working for a booking site is using guides to help a customer with a new reservation. Whether it's 1 reservation, 2 reservations, handling payments, it's all consolidated into a single workflow within the guide. Now, guides are not just for voice contacts. Guides can be used for chat contacts. And the appropriate guides are surfaced to the agent based on the context of the chat. But it's not just voice contacts or chat contacts. You can also use guides with tasks. Tasks can be used by agents to create, assign, and complete tasks in the same user interface that agents accept calls and chats. Again, the appropriate guides are surfaced based on the context of the task that is received by an agent in a queue. Guides can also be used by agents who are in after-contact work mode. You can see here the contact control panel on the left. The agent is in after-contact work mode, and a new tab is popped open, so the agent can complete a feedback form as part of their guided experience. Now, the default design that we've been showing you throughout this presentation was really inspired by Amazon customer service, and you see some of the successes and outcomes that Jack showed you previously. But we know that customers want customization. And with guides, you can customize the way they look inside of our Amazon Connect agent workspace. In this example, you see that there is a guide in the central panel, and we've also persisted all of the available guides in the right-hand panel in case an agent wants to make a switch. Going even further, guides are flexible. You may want to take guides out of our Amazon Connect agent workspace and embed them in your custom agent workspace or in your CRM. We know that you make your build decisions and your purchase decisions to fit the unique needs of your agents. And you can use our APIs to bring a guided experience into a custom workspace like you see on the screen here. You can see here that we have the contact control panel on the bottom right, and we have other widgets like customer information on the bottom left, queue statistics on the top left, and then customer sentiment scores on the top right. Now, whether you use guides in our Amazon Connect agent workspace or you use them in a custom agent workspace, the way you build them is exactly the same.
So we had just a question, how can customers build guides? And when we set out to build this experience, we could have released a bunch of APIs, but we really wanted to go with a more low-code, no-code approach that enabled any persona in a contact center organization to build these guides. And when thinking about how to do this, we realized we already have a no-code, low-code builder in Connect. And that's Amazon Connect Flows. With Flows, which launched with Connect 5 years ago, you're able to use this drag-and-drop GUI to build IVRs, chatbots, and routing logic for contacts. But now, with the addition of one new flow block called the Show View block, you can create UI-based workflows to surface to users. And so with this flow block, what happens is we send instructions to the client application, in our case, the agent workspace, determine what to render, and then based on the agent's actions and what they click, a response is sent back to the flow, and then carries on executing the flow, either doing back-end updates or going to the next view to show. This flow block can be combined with any other existing flow block in order to create branching logic, as well as get customer data. So in terms of integrating data, both options are available to both integrate with Connect, as well as get data from outside of Connect. So in terms of data that already lives in Connect, it's all that IVR data just ready to be used. This can be surfaced as screen pops to your agent at the start of a call, or also used as conditional logic to figure out where to branch in the workflows. Additionally, you can use our out-of-the-box cases flow block to get case information to an agent and even automate the creation of cases. An agent can go through a step-by-step guide, and if your business logic determines follow-up work is needed, a case can be automatically created on their behalf, tasks can be routed to other agents, without the agent have to doing the manual or tedious work of all that data entry. And additionally, likewise, customer profile data readily available to the agent to both view in their guides, as well as to give them the ability to create new customer profiles for new customers. In terms of integrating data from outside of Connect, we use the Lambda flow block that already exists in Flows today. Traditionally used to do data dips and IVRs, as well as some automated tasks, the flow block can now be used to get data from external systems, whether it's a vendor product or homegrown solution, and then pull that into the agent UI to give them information they need, but also a way to update these backend systems at the end of a transaction. And what this looks like in practice is all this data from disparate sources is unified into single UI pages. This way the agent isn't worried about where customer profiles data lives or different transaction history. They just get one tool to make the updates, and to them, you remove this burden of figuring out where they need to go. So there's a few other benefits of using Flows for this solution that we want to call out. The first is the ability to transfer contacts between agents. If agent A is working through a workflow and they get stuck, or they need authorization from their manager to complete it, they can transfer contact to agent B, and agent B in their screen will be able to see how far agent A got and then carry on with the work. Additionally, you can create branching paths in your guides. That way, if there's complex business logic or standard operating procedures, it can all be codified right there in the system. That way the agent doesn't have to worry about reading up knowledge articles and rules. It's right there for them and guiding them throughout the process. Additionally, there's a linkage between the workflows agents do, because they're all flows, and the original inbound contacts. This allows us to update the custom attributes associated with an inbound contact, such as a disposition code, giving you the way to really sync your data. And on that vein, we also will have audit trails of agent actions. If you go now to a voice contact or a chat contact record, you'll be able to see all the different workflows that an agent performed during that contact. And when you click on a workflow, you'll get the complete audit history of every click they took, the steps they performed, and even the data they're trying to update. So I do want to reiterate that a guide is really just a flow. It's a normal contact flow, but it just has this capability of sending data to a UI and determining how that UI should look. But there's always benefits of sharing the data between the different types of flows, for transferring between different contact flows, which will help for both the maintenance and modularization of your workflows. And additionally, you get the benefit of being able to use flow modules to really create discrete units of work and logic that keeps the flow maintenance scalable. But in very particular note on this sort of connection between flows, the way you actually determine what that first screen should be for an agent to see has to do with setting the immediate default flow at the start of a contact. So when you go to your contact flows for routing, you'll be able to set one contact attribute that determines which guide to surface, and you can do this based on different branching rules. You could decide, okay, for certain queues, this is the right landing page to show, or maybe depending on the IVR response, you dive right into a problem. So for example, you'll be able to either, in the situations where you have no idea what the call is about, you could adopt our listen, match, solve UX and give the agent a bunch of topics to then figure out, okay, what should I do next? But in the situations where you already know the exact intent from the IVR or customer history, you'll be able to surface the exact flow and immediately in the step the agent needs to do right on their screen. This way you get full configurability into how dynamic you want to make this experience and to really drive down the agent contact handle time. Now, the last slide we have about flows and the configuration experience has to do with analytics and flow logs. Basically, we've updated our flow logs to now support the tracking of agent actions. So you're able to first look at a particular contact and see as what guide they chose, and then which steps along the way, when given different decision trees, do they take. But then, more so, you can view all the different workflows executed in aggregate, figuring out, okay, what percentage of my contacts did the agent take this particular workflow? And then down the way, how often did this branch get chosen? Overall, by giving this data, we really hope to allow managers, business analysts, and whoever is creating these workflows to get the insights they need to optimize and improve the workflows by spotting trends, as well as sticking points. Maybe there's a particular step that there's a system error and it always errors out, or perhaps agents are manually abandoning the flow of that step, indicating a UI problem. Either way, we want to get the data right to the manager's hands with some helpful pre-canned CloudWatch queries that really allow these personas to update these flows efficiently and make sure they're more effective for agents.
Okay, well, customers who use Connect today are excited about step-by-step guides. One such customer here, Unum, helps millions of people every single year gain affordable access to life, disability, accident, illness, dental, and vision benefits via their workplace. Today, they use a custom agent workspace that their agents have to help customers. They're excited about guides to consolidate actions into a single workflow and take the number of screens their agents use from 5 down to 1. Further, they believe they may be able to sunset their existing workspace and save 15 to 20% on maintenance costs with the Amazon Connect agent workspace. Partners are also excited about guides. Voice Foundry specializes in the design and delivery of customer experience solutions built on the Amazon tech stack. They're excited about the flexibility of guides. They believe it'll help them deliver agent experiences more rapidly in an evolving marketplace. So that ends the main part of our presentation today on step-by-step guides. If what we've been talking about today has interested you or excited you, Jack, myself, and our colleagues will take questions around the floor after we end the presentation. If you are new to Connect or are interested in learning more about Connect, here is a list of other sessions we have today and tomorrow. I'll leave it up there for a second if you want to take a note on a particular session. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to reach out to Jack or myself, we have our email addresses up here, as well as a QR code you can get our contact information. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.